Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have an article where we have Zelensky agreeing to do us a favor. No, not that favor. We wished that would be accomplished, but he didn't agree to that one yet. So this article comes from Ukrainska Pravda from November 8, 2022. Zelensky will take part in G20 summit. My first question will be this. In a normal world, society, neighborhood, life, Zelensky wouldn't even be around the gates of G20 outside. Maybe, climbing the walls somewhere, the fence, but let alone that he is invited to the G20 summit. But all right, let's say that we are that idiot that we accept this guy and we invite this guy in the G20. But he's very important. It might be that he is the centerpiece, the kingpin of the whole G20 meeting. So celebrate, my friends. He's gonna show up at G20. Ukrainian president, kosher president Volodymyr Zelensky will take part in the G20 Leaders Summit in Bali, Indonesia, but most likely in an online form. So he's gonna show up, like that, not in person. Serhiy Nikiforov, President Zelensky's press secretary, in comments to the Ukrainian public broadcaster Suspilne stated, and details, as Nikiforov said, it will most likely be in an online form. And I'm quoting, Volodymyr Zelensky of course will take part in the G20 summit in some form, but I can't tell you more, end quote. I read some articles where Mr. Zelensky, who by definition should not be at G20, okay? Should not. Ukraine has nothing to do over there, unless he's invited as an observer, which someone invited this clown. Now, Russia is a member over there. It should be by definition present at G20. President Vladimir Putin said will show up in Indonesia, right? In Bali. This clown, Zelensky, who, as I said, he at best should be outside of the whole thing on a fence somewhere, so not invited, he tried to blackmail the host of this G20 summit by saying that if Vladimir Putin is invited and he shows up, he will not show up. So remember, Zelensky is not even supposed to be there. And he's the one who tells those guys who should come and who should not. The guy who barely makes it by the mercy of some member states. How do you call that? Would you want this kind of friend? I wouldn't. Even if Zelensky doesn't like Putin, that's not up to him to tell everybody else or the host that if you invite that guy who should be there by definition, then I won't come. Well, buddy, you shouldn't be here in the first place, so pack your little toys and your little money-changing table and get out of the temple before I call Jesus, okay, to get you out. Details. At the same time, Nikiforov has clarified that Zelensky will definitely participate in the summit, but it will most likely be in an online form. Background. Indonesian President Joko Widodo believes that Russian President Vladimir Putin will not attend the G20 summit in Bali next week, to which Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has also been invited. It's like they are invited in the same par, the same value, Russia with Ukraine, G20. Anyway, probably that's why these guys are now showing that, we're going to show up definitely if Putin will not show. President Volodymyr Zelensky has had a telephone conversation with Indonesian President Joko Widodo and discussed preparations for the Group of 20 G20 summit in Bali. How should I put it? Let's say you have a World Cup, soccer World Cup, and you know you go through some qualifying matches and all that to qualify. Why? Because you don't want everyone to go over there. Not everyone gets a trophy still, okay? So we still have creme de la creme participating in the World Cup. Not everybody. It's not so inclusive. You have to have value. Sorry, okay? So the same here. In order to qualify to go to the G20, you have to have a kind of economy that you have to preside over. You have 40 million people, used to have, Ukraine. You're not like 7 million or 3 million or something like that to be in G20. So you should have an economic power. You have resources, you have grain, you have so many things, and you're still poor. So there's no reason why you are not part of the most industrialized countries, the most 20, but one. Which one is it? The leadership makes the great decisions, therefore the economy of your country sucks. Is there any other explanation? I'm not talking about the war. Put it before the war. Put it whenever you want. I'm just stating a fact, and I'm very ugly about it. As Zelensky has said, Ukraine will refuse to take part in the G20 summit in Indonesia on 15 to 16 November if Russian President Vladimir Putin is there. You know, write me back when I call you. Never. So do you see how things are put in perspective? So imagine the soccer thing. You are, I don't know how many teams are at the soccer now, 16 teams or something. I can't remember how many qualify. I think more than 20, 24 or something. And imagine you just invite a little country that did not qualify to the World Cup, who's a shitty country, shitty football team, nobody cares, loses all the time, and you invite that because you, okay, let's do it, because you're, I know, something happens, they have, I know, an outburst of leprosy or something, and you feel sorry for them. And then you invite that country, and when that country, before it goes, it tells you that actually, I don't know, Brazil or Germany, I don't know, countries that are, or Argentina, should not be invited to the World Cup. If they are at the World Cup, then I'm not coming, okay? And you look at this country, let's call it, I don't know, Babalubu. Look at the country Babalubu and say, what the hell is going on with you, Babalubu? You were invited just because we were nice, because you got leprosy all over your Babalubu land. And you, now you tell us that Brazil, Argentina, and whatever, Italy and Germany should not participate? Babalubu, wake up, smack. Go back in your Babalubu lands and stay there and eat your leprosy. It's unbelievable. This is with this guy. If Russia's coming, then I'm not coming. You are not supposed to come in the first place. I think you got my message. This is the person that we are helping, this guy. Now you can say that Russia is bad or whatever, but look at this attitude. He is either or, he's either oring G20. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.